Totes Recall.
Welcome to Totes Recall, the podcast where we talk about a movie we don't remember very well. Watch that movie, reflect on it while watching it, and after it, we come back changed forever.
Wow.
And talk about what we got right or wrong. My name is Dan.
This is Molly.
I'm also Dan.
And I'm Beth.
And our movie this episode is The Graduate.
The Graduate.
I was trying to start this with Pomp and Circumstance, but all I could remember was the Jurassic Park theme song.
That would be a great song to march into.
That's Jurassic Park, right?
No, that was Top Gun.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, that's the podcast. If you hate how much I got that wrong, turn it off. It's not going to be better. The Graduate.
Mm-hmm. I do love that we chose this specifically for the month of June.
Oh, yeah. Grads.
You're
Grads
welcome.
are gradded. Whew, I hope, enjoy your video graduation or whatever you're going to do. We support you. I stand by our country's graduates.
Great.
Yeah, man. And you would think like the class of 2020 would just be so amazing all the way around. Like, who doesn't want to be in the class of 2020? And they're the ones that just don't get to have any of the cool stuff at the end of the year.
Why are they amazing by default?
They get a cool number.
2020? Like 2020 vision.
You know what's cooler?
What?
Be in the class of 2000.
Is that you?
This guy
He's
is
pointing for the listeners. He's pointing at himself like aggressively.
It's got a lot of dad energy going.
As we go.
Hey, how about this though? What if you graduated in 2002, the first numerical palindrome of the millennium?
That would be cool. I would accept that. It's also a very nice BMW. Okay. All right.
What if you graduated in the year of 007?
So take these photographs and still friends of your life.
Mine was It's So Hard to Say Goodbye.
Oh.
Yeah, which was really not true. I was ready to say goodbye to high school.
Yeah, screw those nerds, really right?
Song.
Ready to go off to college chase era times.
Hell yeah, man.
Oh,
Getting makeout sessions with cool dudes on motorcycles.
Nice. Cool hog. I'm talking about a motorcycle.
This is a movie about someone who graduated in the year
65?
67?
Okay, I'm
Molly's
confused. Are we
65.
betting on when the character
the year the
graduates or
movie
when
is
this
made.
movie came out?
When this movie came out.
Is it the same year?
Yeah.
Okay. You're betting same year?
Oh, fun.
Molly, what'd you say, 65?
I said 65. I'm regretting it already, but that's what I'm going with.
Stick to your
65.
guns.
Classic graduation
Part
song.
2.
Okay, again, am I betting on the graduation year of the character or the release date of the movie?
Hey, either
Let's
one.
pretend that it happened the same year.
Okay, I'm going to guess. Okay, this movie came out in 1971, I'm betting.
Wow. 70s cinema.
And I'm betting, to be spicy, I'm betting that The Graduate graduated in 1967.
Wow.
Way to be
I like
spicy.
that bet.
Just
That's
to throw
so
everything
spicy.
into chaos.
Because Beth, do you want to make a bet?
I did, and no one was listening. So I'll let you know if I was right in the second half.
Ooh,
Okay, we're
wow.
gonna put a question mark.
Wow.
Because if I recall correctly,
Mm-hmm.
it starts with like a graduation party, and then Hottie Robinson is there.
Hottie Robinson.
Is that Mrs. Robinson?
Yeah, that's like the point of the movie, right?
Old
He's like-
Hottie Robinson?
Well, isn't there two Robinsons?
Yeah, there
Aren't
are
there
two Hottie Robinsons. There's old Hottie Robinson
Yeah.
and young Hottie Robinson.
There's
Oh,
Yeah. Mama Robinson, Baby Robinson.
Yeah. But Baby Robinson is
is an adult.
Yeah.
Well, almost an adult.
Is she a peer? Is she a graduating peer
Believe
of Dusty
she-
Hoff?
She's at least a social level of society peer.
Okay, and he's graduating from high school.
college, right?
Jaquette's bet, high school graduation.
I think it's
okay.
college
It's
graduation.
got to be college because they tell him to go into plastics.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I do remember plastics. You can go to plastics after high school. So he's got his bachelor's of plastics.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
And then he swims in a pool like the.
I don't even know if he
Nevermind
swims. I feel like he just floats there.
Oh,
Just sinks to the bottom, I thought.
that's right. He's like
Just like
got
Cameron.
Malaise.
Oh,
This movie is
yeah.
about
Oh.
malaise. And
Malaysials. Am I right?
yes, you
Yeah.
Is
are.
that something?
It is
Okay.
now.
I guess it is now, yeah.
Okay, so both Robinsons are hots. Is that what we're establishing? Okay, but he like why? How? I don't remember how he gets in with Mrs. Robinson.
Aren't they family friends? I think
think
it's like
so, yeah.
golf club friends or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
But
I think she's like, he's old enough now for me to make a move.
She's making the move.
There's a very famous line in the
think
so.
movie
Yes.
of Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me.
Oh, and she's like,
Yes, I
Yep.
am.
I am.
I don't think that's exactly her response, but
and he acquiesces to that seduction.
Oh, does he?
No?
No,
what?
I think so. I think that's
do
the
they
whole-
bang?
They
Jaquette's bets they bang.
Lyndon, I also double Dan. That's what it is. I double Dan on that bet. They bang.
I would just like to. Well, no, people just get too mad. I'm sure they do, right?
Who?
I think they do. I think that's part of the thing is he's like actually in love with the daughter, but then the daughter is engaged to someone else maybe or something.
Yes.
Or like
Yes,
they had a
she is.
thing. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Oh, they had a thing when they were kids.
Maybe
and
when
then-
they were younger and now they're both back in town. I don't know.
And then that's like a problem. Oh no, she's definitely okay. She's definitely engaged or going to get married because he breaks up the wedding at the end.
Yes.
Oh
Or-
yeah, with the ba 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 da, I'm in the piano room. Ba ba da, ba ba ba. Stop the wedding now.
Yeah, that's what he does. He sings that ridiculous song
That's
that you
that's
didn't at all just
ironic
make
for-
up.
I remember the movie.
Mm-mm.
Yes, that is how "Hello, Darkness, My Old Friend" sounds. That's
Yep.
you
Oh, is
really nailed
this-
that one as well.
This movie. Speaking of, you might have thought
Oh, The
all
Sound
our
of Silence.
graduation songs were a non sequitur at the top, but this movie's soundtrack is stacked.
Oh yeah.
Long walk to get there, but worth it. Don't cut any of that out.
But it's all Simon and Garfunkel, right? They did the whole
Yeah.
soundtrack.
Yeah.
I remember listening to that soundtrack when I was a kid,
Mm.
like pretty much nonstop at one
Well,
point.
Molly's like, "Hello, darkness, my old friend."
I mean, I was kind of an existential crisis kid, so it really actually lines up. But no, I'd say starting in the
Lines up.
4th grade, my best friend's parents had that album
Mm.
on vinyl, and we listened to it quite a bit. And I remember,
While they were hand rolling cigarettes and
Yeah.
passing them around.
and just writing some beat poetry.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember specifically her challenging me because she was like, there's a song about Mrs. Robinson at the mental institution. That's not what it's called. But the lyrics sort of indicate that, right? It's, oh no, help me.
Nope.
Shoot.
Help. I need Mrs. Robinson. Help.
Yep.
Just
Classic
Eddie
Simon
Robinson,
Garfunkel
help.
song right
I
there.
just need a Mrs. Robinson.
Oh gosh, all the
The God Bless You Please, Mrs.
tour the
Robinson.
grounds or tour around the grounds until you feel at home. And here's to you, Mrs. Robinson. Da, 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 da. I'm so sorry, listeners, but the point is,
Whoa.
if you
Joe
listen to
DiMaggio.
the song, it sounds very much like Mrs. Robinson is being committed to a home by her family.
Interesting.
But that's actually not what it's about, or at least that's
Oh.
certainly not what it's about in the context of the film.
Sure.
And I got sick burned by my 4th grade friend Sarah. So thanks a lot.
Yes.
Oh, Sarah, like, well, actually, you and like when you were 10
Yeah.
years old about
Yeah.
what, folk records.
Yep.
You're such a poser,
So-
Chase.
So that's why I didn't like anything popular again until after college.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. That's formative. That was a formative moment for you.
Yeah. Yeah, like roasted.
Hey, Beth, is The Graduate on the AFI list?
It is, and I saw it. No big deal.
No big deal.
I have also seen all the AFI films.
I think it's
Have you?
what?
Oh, yeah.
Dan,
No big deal. It's not a big deal.
You have not. You would have been talking about it a long time before now.
Nope. Now's the time to talk about it. This guy's seen all the AFI films.
You just never brought it up for like 5 years.
Have you been
this
secretly
is an
working
18-month.
on this?
Yep. This is an 18-month project for this payoff right here.
I
hate you.
Wait, like you've actually just been secretly watching these movies?
But Dan.
Yeah, I just watched All About Eve a couple nights ago, and that capped it off.
Wow.
Doesn't capped it off mean
I
you're
have a
starting
question
it?
though,
Not
because
editing it?
Dan, have you watched all 123 films?
Oh no, I have not watched the old list. I'm an
I
updated
have.
man.
No big deal.
No. Hoisted on my own petard.
I'm not watching the old list.
Didn't we all agree that Beth was going to be the person that did that? That we would just ride her coattail?
Now Lyndon's doing it, and he's putting snacks with it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Yeah.
Which theme?
Yeah, this is actually fucking up our whole system since this is like 17th or something on the list, and we're only at like 90 something.
Yeah, it's like in the top few.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a good.
We'll see if it holds
gonna
up.
Have to do the list.
I mean, if you want to be cinephiles like Beth and I,
like...
and eventually Dan.
I'm really in it more for the snacks. I'm in it more for the thematic snacks than the movies.
But yeah, I literally watched Ben-Hur January of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
It's taken so long.
So did you start it though with the thought of like, I'm going to drop a bombshell on Totes Recall?
Yeah.
Like that was the motivation behind it?
Yeah. Absolutely. It was that. This is a good part of this segment. It was so the backstory is for Avengers Endgame, I went back and watched all the Marvel movies I'd missed, which was most of them.
Right.
And I was like, ooh, that's a fun movie watching project.
Mm-hmm.
And then my wife was like, how about the AFI movies? That's a movie watching project. And I said, yes. And then I could do a lot of work for a real low payoff bit where I reveal I've watched them all on the podcast.
Great. Was it worth it?
It's so worth it. Mm-hmm. It's so worth it. Mm-hmm. I watched the 100 longest movies ever made.
Is that the list? Was that what the list is?
How do you like Giant?
How do I like what?
Giant.
That must be on the old list.
Oh, maybe it's on the old list.
Intolerance is the one
it's
that's
like
really
5 million hours.
Yeah,
there's a lot of long ones on there.
Made in 1916, and you're like,
I remember Ben-Hur being super long because my parents had it on VHS, and it was 2 VHS tapes.
Whoa.
Do you think that the characters in The Graduate watch any of these movies we're talking about?
I mean, probably they're like mostly comedies from the 40s, so they've probably seen all those.
Great.
Yeah, so I am looking forward to seeing The Graduate, the movie that is the topic of our podcast.
Yeah.
I think it is possible I have just seen all the highlights so many times. I think I've seen it. I have for sure seen that final scene of him interrupting the wedding and barring the door with a cross. And them getting onto the bus. I think it is. I'm 99% sure. He grabs whatever's closest and he uses that to barricade. And then they're sitting on the bus and their facial expressions are like sort of jubilant. We did it at first. And then what did we do? And then the sound of silence comes on. Blackout.
Wow.
Very good way
no
to
need to watch
the
movie now. That
ending is great.
Spoiler.
I mean, this is one of those movie facts where it's like everybody knows the movie fact, but I'm going to say it out loud just in case nobody knows the movie fact.
Okay.
Was that they just kept the camera rolling on there and they didn't yell cut. And so a lot of that expression of them shifting from being happy to kind of like what's going on is just because they never say cut. It's just genuine, like, are they going to yell? Are they going to end the scene?
I did not know that movie fact. Thank you.
Good
there
movie
was a photographer who did a project in Italy where she went to all the big tourist destinations and took pictures of people, like groups of people, the moment after a picture was taken.
Oh, that's good.
And so it's all of their faces falling and like relaxing. And it's really disturbing because it's very true. Like we snap to attention and then sort of fade. That is fascinating. I'm excited to see that. And I did not know that fact.
It's a fun fact.
Well, maybe
which will
maybe I
surprise
made it
no
up.
one. Because I haven't looked it up on Wikipedia yet.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we should. I mean, we should confirm that is true. I have heard that before, but
I'm sure there's a slow part in the movie, Molly, where you can check that out for us.
On it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of a moody film.
Yeah, I'm really worried that I'm going to not like this movie.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah, because I remember liking it when I saw it and be like, yes, this is a good capital F film. But now I'm wondering with like 2020 eyes, I'm just gonna be like, another movie about like rich white dude angst.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the whole
That's
movie
fair.
is just like, I'm so directionless in my incredibly privileged bubble. And that's like the movie. That's like his
Yeah.
entire
Do we
character arc, if I remember correctly.
Do we think Dustin Hoffman is basically Holden Caulfield in this movie?
Isn't he like not
Is
angry
he
enough to be
Caulfield?
Holden Caulfield?
Oh, has to be angrier. Got it.
Just calling everybody phonies.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
hating
Especially
everything.
Sally.
I don't even think he hates anything.
Stick
He's
it
just
to
kind of
Sally,
like,
the phony.
that's the thing. I'll be curious to see like what his deal is, because I just feel like it's just like the sort of general malaise of like, which I can relate to because I was also a depressed 20-something white dude with a perfectly acceptable life.
Yeah.
But
Banging your friend's mom.
well,
Yeah, I wonder if we're, supposed to feel bad for him because
mhm,
I don't remember a lot of the movie, but I don't remember he's making great choices.
right.
I would think you're supposed to feel empathetic, like, oh, I get it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, once you're done with college, like, what do you do?
Yeah. What do you do?
Great
knows?
question.
Make a
felt pretty
podcast.
lost.
I still
remember.
haven't answered that question. So
I remember walking back to the car with my parents from college graduation with like,
still humming the Jurassic Park theme song.
singing the Jurassic Park thing down, with like fun little sproingy star things that I'd put on my mortarboard to be fun, but just like being so depressed because I was like, oh, these are my best friends that I'm never going to see most of them ever again.
That's an amazing image.
And
Just
I
the
don't know
springy
what to
stars.
do.
Yeah.
Like I had no job lined up. I was not excited about my major and I was leaving and it was really sad.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went to grad school later. Anyway, that's my story about my life. I could go on.
What did you wear in your hat
we
when
know.
you graduated?
Eventually,
grad school?
I watched the 100 greatest films of all time, according to some white American men.
I guess I don't know whether I should say this or not, but my post-college experience was kind of different than that. I mean, I did stick around Athens as a townie for about 6 months, like just working at a restaurant and hanging out at bars. That was really fun. Highly recommended. But even then, I sort of had a job lined up. Like I had sort of started my own web design business. And I kept that going. And then I joined corporate America like the next summer and just like worked on my career like I was double parked and was just super ambitious and way older than I am now. Like I was deep into my 40s and my 20s. I had a 401k and I bought a house at like 25. Like I was on fire. And I guess I just kind of burned out somewhere in my 30s and now I'm in my 40s and I've just never been more relaxed and possibly more aimless in my life.
Sure.
Is that
Yeah.
good? Or
It
is
sounds
that
to me like
bad?
you should go swimming.
Yeah. Maybe plastics?
Maybe plastics. Yeah. Maybe get into
Plastics.
plastics.
I mean, I'm sure at some point I will re-enter the world.
Why?
I mean, we're also, not to date the podcast too much, but we're in a bit of a not being involved with the world period right now.
Yeah, we're all the graduate right now.
Yeah.
We're all.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Is it?
Yeah. We're all just looking for our hot friend's mom.
Oh boy.
To
Do you
give
want to
us
take
some
a wager
purpose.
on how much of the story that actually is?
Oh,
Ooh,
yeah. 80%.
20%.
Yeah, I'm going to say 30%.
Nice.
And for fun, I'll do 25.
Great. So suck it,
That's
Dan.
Very fun.
Here's something I remember about The Graduate. when I was watching the AFI list when I was like in high school, like senior in high school, and then when I was in college.
Mm-hmm.
And around that time, I started my first Facebook page.
Mhm.
I say first because I've gotten rid of it and got opened up a new one and then got rid of it again. But I don't know if you remember, but when you like back in the day when you set up a Facebook page, or you would say like all the things that you like, and then that showed people like who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And so to impress other people, The Graduate was definitely on my list of like my favorite movies.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm curious to see if I actually liked the movie or if I was just like being like, I like The Graduate.
Right.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
This is a Mikey Nix experience.
I'm sorry, can you translate?
Did Mike Nichols direct this movie?
I don't remember.
Oh, I think he did. Yeah.
I think he did.
And other than Dustin Hoffman, do we remember anyone who's in it?
Mrs. Robinson.
Someone's screaming at us right now because the woman who plays Mrs. Robinson is very famous.
Oh, famous.
Is her
famous
name
woman.
Elaine? What's her name?
Elaine from
Yeah.
Seinfeld?
Yes.
No. But yes. Wait, the character's name is Elaine, correct?
The daughter is
What is he
Elaine.
yelling when he's like, Elaine?
Young
Is
Robbie
that what
is
he's yelling
Elaine.
when he's hitting the window?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know who she's played by.
I don't know. Sorry.
Kelly Duvall.
That doesn't seem right.
I don't think so. She was in Nashville, another AFI movie that I liked quite a bit.
Just
Okay,
so
well-
smug.
Smug.
Before we get any more speakers thrown out of cars, maybe we should move on. Any other bets? I'm gonna hope that it passes the Bechdel Wallace. I'm gonna say that it does.
It's got to be
'Cause
like
surely the senior and junior Robinson talked about each other about something other than Dustin Hoffman.
there.
Yeah.
It feels like there's enough.
I think it's got a
of the-
good chance.
What, Beth?
It's got a good chance.
Yeah, there's a lot of like
passing.
moms and daughters floating around this movie, and moms who know each other. So like, there seems like a good,
Yeah.
solid chance.
I feel good about it. Yeah. Does Dustin Hoffman have friends?
Great question. There's got to be
Why
one.
does he?
Yes.
I don't remember anything he does other than bang on the window,
Yep.
fall in a pool,
Yep.
and bang on.
Go,
Oh,
Go ahead.
I knew that was going to happen.
I have
But
no
I literally
idea.
like there's a whole middle chunk where he's what, just wandering around being sad.
Probably.
I don't remember.
I
Does
don't
he
either.
get a job in plastics?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I
Does
wonder
he
about
have,
this
like,
movie.
an
Oh, he
Like,
drives
internship
around
somewhere?
in his Carmen Ghia. Doesn't he have a Carmen Ghia?
what's a
or
Carmen
Porsche?
Ghia?
I don't know.
Isn't that a kind
Ask
of
Molly
Porsche?
Gearhead Chase over here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Gearhead. Hey, Gearhead.
All right, Molly's bet. He drives around in something like a Carmen Ghia.
Like a Italian sports car for Ferrari Rocher,
What's happening?
Maserati,
I feel like he's just listing stuff.
pizza pie.
Dan's bet. Any sort of like sexual interaction between characters in this movie is deliberately awkward and uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I love
Like
that
there
bet.
is there is no like, oh, this seems healthy and not like incredibly discomforting scenes in this movie that involve
yeah,
anyone's sexual relationship with each other.
and I think it's reflected in the cover art, which is iconic, right?
Is
Isn't
it?
it? It's
I don't know.
like Dustin Hoffman looking like schlumpy,
Disheveled.
and then a big nylon leg sticking into frame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
'Cause of
that's like
course-
a shot in the movie.
Yeah.
Because we don't need to see a woman's face.
Oh no, it's
Just-
about him. His spectacular journey into depression.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or out of
This
it.
would be such a fun movie.
I mean, could be.
It could be. I don't know.
I mean, it's
Like,
basically the journey of him turning into his parents, right? That's the whole thing, right? They're trying to not become their parents,
yikes.
and then in the end, they're making choices where they're definitely going to end up being their parents.
Whoa.
He is going to be the guy telling somebody else at a pool party to go into plastics.
Wow. Dark.
Dark.
Wow.
Can't wait for The Graduate
The
too.
cycle
huh?
can't be broken.
Pool party at the home. Okay.
Great subtitle. Book it. Sold in the room. Molly, what
Nice.
should we rate this with?
We are going to rate it in terms of how many ennui cars.
On.
Okay,
Oh, wow.
I would like some clarification.
Please.
Do these cars run on ennui, or are the cars themselves feeling ennui? Is this like Cars 4,
Whoa.
The
I
Graduate?
mean, you are what you
As far
eat.
as
So they
ennui
run on
goes.
ennui, and they are, in fact, feeling ennui, as are all
Wow.
the passengers aboard it.
They're cannibal cars?
Yeah. Oh, are they? I mean, good question.
I mean, they're eating the emotion of ennui, not the people of ennui.
But they're made, but they, oh, I see. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
They're
So,
feeding
I
off
mean,
of
you
their
just have
emotion.
to
but-
listen to The Cure and cry, and those
Mhm.
tears become the fuel for the ennui.
Oh,
car.
wow. I
Okay.
think we
But
just
are
solved the
they
energy
also
crisis.
cannibals? Like, unrelated,
No.
are they also cannibals?
No,
Okay.
Okay.
absolutely not.
Are these... How much these run?
No,
Like, how much these cars run?
You don't have to ask a question.
$300,000.
Wow. Is that more than a Carlo Gugiani or whatever?
Carmen Kia.
Yeah.
Oh my God. No.
Okay.
No. I
Wait, you
don't
said
know. I'll look it up during the
$400,000?
She said
three.
300.
300.
Are we bidding? I'm confused.
5 million.
700.
I spaced out on the price, but I wanted to write it down.
Nice.
300,000.
Okay. So
Listen.
it's a car run on ennui.
Yeah, and feeling on me.
Even
Sure.
more important than it being a car, it is a rating system. So I wonder how many you would give this movie. How many do you think you will give this movie?
Who?
Dan, you started off.
I know. I just wanted to be acknowledged as a person and not just a leg that's rating the movie.
Dan Linden, you have the floor.
Okay. I'm going to, as I expressed my doubts earlier in the show, I'm going to go down to the lot and only lease 3 ennui cars. And I can afford, but I mean, I can afford to lease 3 cars because my dad is rich and I'm going into plastics. But also, I don't really know what I'm going to do with my life. So, like, you can't just commit to 5 whole cars when you're still not even sure what you're doing, after college. So, 3 ennui cars.
300 cars. Great. Beth.
I'm going to just go for, I'm going to believe my Facebook self back when I saw the movie.
Always a good
It's
way
one
to
of my
be.
favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say 5.
I mean, believing what you see on Facebook
Wow.
has gotten us so far as a culture. So, I think you're
Yes.
right to do this.
I think that I also hadn't graduated from college
Oh.
before I saw the movie. So now I'm wondering how I'll feel after knowing that feeling of graduating from college and not knowing kind of what's next.
Right.
I might relate to it a little bit more.
Yeah.
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 Well-
I will rate this movie now. I have the floor. I, as a cinephile, I recognize that this is
Why are you a
probably...
cinephile? Hold on. Why are you a cinephile? Why do you
I've seen
consider
all
yourself?
100 AFI Top 100
Wow.
10th anniversary.
That's such a unique accomplishment that
Yep.
you should really,
Yep.
yeah.
It's very unique.
Did you do it in your 20s?
Accomplishment. I think it's probably good, but I think there's going to be some stuff that I'll be like boring.
Mhm.
So 4.
All right.
Spoken like a true cinephile.
I bet the cinematography is really good.
Uh-huh.
Is
I
that
bet
a bet?
I'll like the cinema of it.
hmm
Yeah, I love the cinema of it.
This has got to be the most ill-informed first half I think we've
Oh,
ever
man.
done.
We are, yeah. I mean, we are coming into this pretty weak.
Molly, how about you? How many cars?
4.
You... Well,
I'm feeling confident about my 4
Okay.
because what I found is that classics are classic for a reason.
hmm
And I think I'm going to be troubled by some things, but I think it's going to be so embedded in the time that it was created that it maybe won't be so bothersome. And I'm hoping I'll really like it. I'm hoping I'll walk out of here with 5 ennui cars.
Wow.
But I would accept as few as 2.5. But I'm going for 4. If it's less than 2.5, I'm going to erase the movie from my memory completely. So
I mean, you're going to do that anyways, based on previous experiences.
We could redo the show in 2 years, and it would just be like exactly the same.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's our plan long term.
Yeah, just re-record or just release the old episodes and see if anyone notices.
Oh, I was saying like we would just like maybe we could just redo the first half. And Molly would be convincingly enough not remembering the movie that it would seem like new content. I don't know. I haven't thought about this very far, but
Okay.
I'm just trying to think about
good.
like, keeping our margins low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our pranks high.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Totes Recall promise.
Yep.
For all the investors out there, all the angel investors.
Yeah, please.
Looking for cars. No one's buying cars anymore.
I mean, they might if they were on WeCars.
Yeah.
Hey, invest in on WeCars.
Yep.
Oh, we'll
Call
never
us.
run out of that.
We have a
The
phone
fuel
number.
for that. It's a renewable resource.
And with that, we're going to press pause, go watch The Graduate, and we'll be right back.
Hey, Totes Heads. We'll be back to the episode in just a second, but we wanted to let you know that we have recently updated our Patreon tiers. So go check those out. There's a lot of cool stuff, including...
So, wait, if I go check it out, do I have to be Michael Jordan? Because there's like a Michael Jordan tier, right?
You don't have to be Michael Jordan to look at the tiers, but there
Got
is
it,
one
got it.
specifically for you, and only you can buy it.
But you're saying completely free. Like, I don't even have to commit any money. I can go look at the new tier system
Yes.
at patreon.com/totesrecall.
It is free to browse.
Wow.
You can window shop potential rewards.
Uh-huh.
Well, what if I want to buy? Is there anything cool?
Yeah,
There's-
what's out there?
So many cool things.
Wow.
Including you can now help us, not even help, you can select a movie we're going to watch.
Whoa.
At one tier, that's been something people have been requesting.
Wait, did we agree to this? Are we doing that?
We
I
did.
don't remember, but they claim we agreed to it, but I...
This is outside Respect Listener Opinions Month. You can have, for a fee, you can be respected any time of the year.
or be a cruel demigod that controls our fate.
And we will respect that.
Oh, boy.
So capitalism.
Yeah, there's an adult-sized milk glass you can get, and a bunch of other cool stuff. So go check it out at patreon.com/totesrecall.com.
Sure.
And
There's not a .com at the end. To be clear, there's only one .com within that address.
You decide which one.
you decide the mystery. It's free to solve that mystery. But one of the tiers includes a shout out on this podcast, totesrecall.com. And so here are those people that have already slid
So
into
these
that
are
tier.
elite patrons that have achieved a tier, if you will,
Yeah.
of support of this podcast, where we are giving them an old on-pod shout-out.
Yes. They can see their
Yes.
name in lights in audio form.
I love that. I love these people for their support.
So here's
The
people
following people.
the following people we love. Maureen,
Brian.
Oh,
Ben Nemi,
Lucy Ainsworth.
Brian
Dan
McCain.
Haig.
Oh,
Come on. I get to do Dan Haig. And
Joshua. Thank you, Joshua.
Brian McCain again, because Molly stepped on that.
yes. Joe Jaquette.
Nice.
I've heard of him.
Shining a light on Francis Aravello.
Yeah.
A good day to Victoria
Oh my
Brown.
God.
Good day, mate.
Alex Platt, thank you so much.
Trevor, Lindau, or Lindo, depending on where you're from in the world, we thank you.
Emma Wick. Good job.
Oh, Emma Wick, always showing up. Awesome. Eric Ostrom,
Woo!
the first person to ever mention the podcast to me outside of, I don't know, anytime.
Wow.
Thank you, Eric.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, and check out our last one. Oh my gosh.
This is a big get.
Wow.
Good luck. High five.
Dang.
Also a podcast, not
Also
a person.
podcast. Yes, 2 people. Go check them out at goodluckhighfive.com. I hope so.
Just Google it. Look it up
That
on
sounds
Twitter.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
they seem like they'd be on that domain.
Yeah.
So thank you to all those people, and to all the other people that are our patrons.
Yes.
We will not say your names.
Right. At least not at this
You
moment. Yeah.
Increase your tier.
If you are a patron or a non-patron who is seething with jealousy right now for the people we just named, you can check out how you also can get shout out in this incredibly efficient and not at all unprofessional manner
Yeah.
at patreon.com/totesrecall.
And we're back. We just watched 1 hour and 46 minutes of toxic masculinity and femininity and dysfunction,
Yep.
and it was a drama and a comedy
Toxicity.
called The Graduate,
Yes.
which came out in 1967.
Nailed it. Me. Good job. 1 point in Dan's column.
My column. I'll take that. You didn't specify which Dan.
We don't know what year this movie takes place. There's no
It seems
title
like a
card.
current day.
It does.
I agree, but it's
Yeah.
not. It's unconfirmed.
Right.
Fair. Really fair.
Yeah. So
I guess
potential point for Dan Linden.
1966.
Yep.
Just in case you were wondering from the first half what I actually guessed.
Oh.
Yes,
I was wrong.
You were wrong. So
you were wrong.
you should have just kept it to yourself.
Well, I wanted to, I think people only are listening to the second half so they can find out what I had said in the first half that they could have rewinded to hear.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I feel like we have never been as vague or completely inaccurate in the first half as we were for this movie.
I don't think
And
I
I
remember our podcast
All
very well.
part of it is that I have actually not seen this movie
Hey, there we go. A Totes
At
Recall
all.
classic.
Totes
Yeah,
go first.
so-
Molly has not seen the movie.
At all? What? Did you think you had seen it?
I did. I was pretty sure. It seemed like I would have seen it.
Okay.
And
I mean, a
had
lot
seen
of
some
pop
key-
culture references it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
But
There's an entire scene that's in Wayne's World too.
Mhm.
Yep. That's true. Featuring Charleston Heston as the gas station owner.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah, that's right.
Even
Yeah.
that part's in there.
Yeah.
I just
and then
remember
it's
the
like,
church part
"Where's
because
the church?"
it
And
happens
it's-
twice, that musical cue where it's like, da-da-da.
And it's like right there. He doesn't have to run.
Wow. I have a story about Charlton Heston. I'm going to save it for right now.
Okay, yeah. Because
For
we
when
do
we
have.
watch a Charlton Heston movie.
Yes.
Can we watch Planet of the
Hello.
Apes? Let's watch Planet of the Apes.
Sure.
Great.
Yeah.
On record.
Done.
Love it.
I've seen that one. I'm pretty sure.
Nice.
Sure. Before we get too deep into the second half of this podcast,
Yep.
we need to do beloved segment 60-second summary.
Yes.
Hashtag 66 Tweet your summaries at us.
No,
I don't know
why we
that's
have
not
a
how it
hashtag.
works.
What are you doing?
No.
I don't know why we have a hashtag for this
We
segment.
don't have one.
We do.
I mean, just for people to say like,
Um,
I like hashtag 6xsum, just to let us know
Yeah.
that they like it.
oh, yeah.
But if you
Or
don't
that's
like
right, or
it,
I
don't
don't
hashtag
like.
it.
Then
If you
hashtag
don't like
667.
it, keep it to yourself. Like Beth's long answers.
hmm
Yeah.
I feel like I could do it.
Great. I love it.
Okay, I will
Great.
put the
Dan,
time on the
you got-
clock. Are you ready?
Yes.
Go.
We open on the clouds in an airplane with young Ben returning home from the East Coast where he's just graduated from college. He's a star athlete. He's been really motivated and committed. But upon arrival at home, we find out he has no peers his age. He knows no one at all, even remotely his age. And he's forced into really claustrophobic parties one after another with people who are much, much older than he is. This leads to being
30
seduced
seconds.
by a family friend, Mrs. Robinson, who he calls Mrs. Robinson even like when they are very intimate. But anyway, they have an affair. Then he meets her daughter and decides that her daughter is who he's in love with. And after he treats her very badly, they still end up getting together. He follows her to Berkeley at one point where he stalks her. And then in the end, he interrupts her wedding to a promising but douchey medical student, and they get on a bus and stare into space while
time.
place.
Wow.
Pretty good.
I mean,
Yeah.
I thought
you covered
you
it,
were gonna
actually.
pull a real Jaquette there and blow too much time at the top.
You pretty much covered it.
We open on clouds in an airplane.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it originally was like I was on the edge of my seat because it seemed like you were focusing on a lot of minor details, but you really pulled it off.
Yeah. Good job. Now everybody knows what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
We did make bets on how much of the movie was hot Mrs. Robinson mom.
What?
It's more than I
right.
thought it was.
Yeah, I said 80%.
Wrong.
And then everybody else was pretty clustered around 25.
I think we were all wrong.
Well, and I think I was wrong because I had not seen the movie. But
Sure.
if you were to take the pieces of the movie I had seen, 25% would be accurate.
All right.
Okay. So
When
you
I
design
don't know
the
if that math
rules
clicks out, but
around your experience, you win. I'm going to say 60%
yeah, at best.
hot Mrs. Robinson.
Yeah, I agree. 60% maximum.
Yeah, seems right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, it's like 60% her, maybe 20% Elaine, and then the rest
It's a bunch of rich
him
dads.
staring into space and becoming just a worse and worse person.
yeah,
Or like water metaphors.
and water metaphors and cinematography.
Mm.
Oh, bless us.
And
Capital C.
Some solid bits.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this movie was way funnier than I remember it being. I like really laughed at a lot of parts. I love that when he goes in to like hit that the bell, and then okay, what's his name? Ben is at the hotel and he's so nervous. It's like the first time that he and Mrs. Robinson are having their affair, and he goes up to get a room and they call over like I don't know, what would they be called?
The porter.
Porter to get the to get his luggage, and he's like, no, and he like puts his hand over the bell, and so the second time the person at the front desk like hits his hand instead of the bell. Really made me laugh. I did a really good job of explaining how
Yeah, no.
comedic
I'm sure everybody at home is cracking up.
moment
And they understand how
happened.
hotels work, too.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, the
Yeah.
guy at the front desk, there's the porter.
I would say
Bell.
that any listener understands how hotels work better than Ben did.
True. That is actually.
God bless him.
That is
God
true.
bless
He
that
is-
clueless 21-year-old man.
so
Yeah.
He's a little
uncomfortable.
baby child.
He's a little baby dum-dum.
It's really great.
Yeah.
Do we
Yeah.
think Mrs. Robinson seduces him out of kindness or pity or boredom?
Boredom.
Boredom. 100% boredom.
Mm-hmm.
Who is played by Anne Bancroft.
Bancroft.
Yeah. She's
Now,
amazing.
longtime
Bancroft,
listeners of
am
the
I right?
podcast will know that I always guess Shelley Duvall when I don't know.
Do you?
And I am
Do you?
I was like,
always
I've been listening to
wrong.
this podcast for a pretty
Yeah.
long time.
No,
I
this is
don't
like
remember
the
you
third or
guessing
fourth
that.
time I've guessed that.
Huh.
And it's just because I'm like, if it is her, I'm going to sound not as dumb as I am.
Sure.
But Anne Bancroft does such an incredible job.
Oh,
she's
great.
amazing.
She does great. She crushes.
She crushes. She's
She's intense.
intense. It's a good word for it. Mm.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
she's arguably the only full-fledged character in the entire movie.
Is
And she does have top billing.
Oh.
that true?
Yeah, she really is. No,
I feel like
she does
Ben
have
is
top
too.
billing.
Top B.
No?
He's just such a piece of mush.
He is
But
a
I
piece
think
of
like
mush.
he's a piece of mush, and he plays it, and he's played by, you know what I mean? Like
He's a
He-
fully formed mush.
he's fully formed mush. He's just like a pile of mashed potatoes who doesn't know what to do with his life.
Oh boy.
Richard Dreyfuss, am I right?
What?
Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Oh,
It's a pretty good
Yeah.
movie.
Oh,
It's a
Richard
very good
Dreyfuss is
movie.
in this movie.
It's on
That's
the
why
list.
Dan
No big
mentioned it. Yeah.
Wow.
okay.
Christ.
There are two people from Jaws in the movie,
That's
Correct.
right.
Oh,
because
yeah.
there is a cameo by Richard Dreyfuss. He's one of the good boys. As
Is that a
the-
cameo or just like a early?
I mean, I guess like
It's like a retroactive cameo.
Okay.
retroactive cameo.
Yeah.
And then the dad, Mr. Robinson, is played by the Jaws mayor.
Yes.
Jaws Mayer.
He wasn't wearing a jacket that was as good as in Jaws.
Still wore some good jackets though. Like
Yes. Yeah.
the rich
Got this-
dads in this movie really just killed it on being just exactly that kind of dad. If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
they've always got a tumbler or something in their hand.
Yeah, they're always
It's
wearing.
almost like the character from Legally Blonde, the dad at the end, is like
Yeah.
just all the dads.
Well, there was like, I mean, there was a moment where Ben's dad is literally in like this very luxe looking robe in the morning with like a tiny tumbler of orange juice, like casually holding the receiver of a phone. And like it looked like he could just stand there all day in that position. Like he had nothing else to do with his day.
I didn't realize until that scene what a good like dad attribute that is of loosely holding things in your hands. Like,
Especially phones.
like just the way the
Especially
phone is
phones.
drooping out of his hands, and he's got like an orange juice.
So
maybe
confident.
a whatever that's called, mimosa.
Screwdriver. Or mimosa.
Screwdriver. Probably screwdriver, right?
Yeah.
And it's like he's got all these matching summer suits.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Like denim, not denim, but that color. Denim's not a color.
Yeah,
What?
it's like a swimsuit, but also a shirt that matches it.
Yeah. And
Are you talking like a chambray?
maybe
I have
I don't
no
know.
idea.
that light
Mandy.
blue gray color that is often associated with denim jeans.
Okay. Again, unprecedented. Mandy, tell us what a chambray is, and then look up this movie and tell us if Ben's dad is wearing chambray.
Yep. Yep. Get back
Thank
to-
you.
Also, Ben's dad in this movie is a character, or is an actor who was in one of those hospital shows forever. It was
Isn't it
so
Mr.
familiar to
Feeney?
me.
I believe it is Mr. Feeney, yes.
From
Who's
which?
Mr. Feeney?
From Boy Meets World.
Boy Meets World.
Boy Meets
Yeah.
World.
Like the
But there's-
principal? Is he the principal or a teacher? I can't remember what his job at the school is. He's a school figure.
Apparently he was on a hospital show for many years, too.
Yeah. Well, I quickly looked at his IMDb listing, and there were just too
Whoa,
many.
whoa, whoa,
It's one of
whoa,
those
whoa,
that's worth
wait.
looking
Yeah,
at.
Wait,
yeah, I have
I'm
questions
sorry,
about
what?
this.
What page? What web page were you looking at?
I veered off of Wikipedia and went to IMDb.
Wow.
We sold out.
Wow.
didn't
We
get it.
have sold out.
For $3 from
Wow.
everyone.
I
Now
did
Ollie's-
Wikipedia the soundtrack.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And we forgot to
Alright.
mention that it's not only Simon and Garfunkel, but a third person whose first name is Dave and last name begins with the letter G does all of the instrumentals.
David Geffen.
No.
David,
Guerrera.
Grumholtz.
But before we go too far away from the dads, and I know
Yes.
we're pretty far already, one of my favorite jokes was that Mr. Robinson never gives Ben the drink that he's ordered. He's always asking for bourbon, and no matter what, he gets scotch.
Nice.
And it's so casually, loose hand, rich dad done.
Yeah, for sure.
And we must talk about what those drinks come in.
God damn it.
A
was
container
even
that
happening?
is.
I think they are like a carved wood king and queen case for liquor bottles,
Hmm.
but they look
Okay.
like the sort of thing that would be racist.
Yes,
What do you
agreed.
mean?
Like, I
like
expect them to be
a
like a
tiki
lawn
thing?
ornament or like a tiki,
Yeah.
that style, but I don't think they are.
But I do
But it's
really
got that
appreciate that they each were wearing necklaces that told you what liquor was inside of them.
Yeah. You
Yes.
want to get mixed up? You want scotch? You drinking bourbon? Forget about it.
You know what? You're never going to get bourbon. Not in that house.
Yeah, that was a very like huge dad, rich dad energy move of just sort of like not even verbally, just being like, "You're drinking scotch."
Yeah.
Like that's
Well,
a total
no, he
rich
said, "What do
dad
you have?"
move.
And he says, "Bourbon." And he's like, "Yeah." And then he just pours him a scotch.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's like the
Well, I
nonverbal
know, but I'm
version.
saying
I think we're saying the same thing.
I'm
but
saying
you
it's
think
even
I'm
worse.
disagreeing
No,
with you.
I'm one-upping your badness by pointing out that he literally asks for information that he then ignores
Yeah.
non-verbally, as opposed to never even asking.
No,
Does that
we're
make
saying the same
sense?
thing.
They're
Oh.
so mad at each other.
I'm so mad. I'm saying this is the thing that like a rich dad would do where like they offer them something but already have decided what they're going to do,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is exactly what you're
Yeah.
saying. I think.
Or they force their son to put on a full scuba suit and
Oh my
perform
God.
getting in the
Okay.
pool for
I
their
do
friends.
have a question about that. Like,
He
I
was so
have many
proud of
questions.
that.
Like what? Why? What was happening?
Was that new? Was a scuba suit a new thing in '67? I would
I
be
don't know.
shocked to learn that.
He said it only. I don't know. Great
Maybe
question.
it is for like rich people. Like he's like, hey, look we have our own scuba suit.
Maybe, yeah, it was like a big deal. But I also
that
love
we can
that
use. But he also has a harpoon.
Do you think the harpoon gun? Do you think the harpoon gun was just thrown in as like a little
Like
incentive?
free?
Yeah, like that's at the
I
scuba
don't know,
store.
is that-
They just like, oh man, we make these things for like $2. Like,
Yeah. You never know when a shark's gonna pop up. You gotta
Oh,
shoot it.
I do feel that way whenever I'm in a pool.
like you never know when a shark's gonna pop up.
Yeah, the shark might pop up in there. I know
Like
that the
what?
shark would die in chlorinated water, but
I'm trying to think of what scenario his dad presented, like the hypothetical scenario his dad presented for like why his son would need a scuba suit and a harpoon gun.
I mean,
Right?
that's big dad energy to buy.
Yeah.
Spend too much on some bullshit, and then force your child to use it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I got this. Oh, it was a deal. They gave it to me for $300.
Right.
It was 200. And what I found, yes, absolutely. It just like the cinematography, which was a little heavy-handed at times,
But also great.
But
also great.
Mhm.
Yeah. There's a wonderful scene where they finally reveal why he's so reluctant to come out, which is that he's in his full scuba suit. And then they change the perspective to behind the mask, like with the sound of the
Amazing.
breathing. And the most amazing part is after he gets in the pool and you see all of the scenes of the parents and the social class are so claustrophobic and tight in.
Mhm.
And then to see it through the mask, it's just framed even more tightly. But the best part is his mom's hand just reaching out and pushing him back in
Yeah.
the
Literally
pool.
pushing him, underwater.
Literally, and I was like, that is
like that
That is
scene is how a
hilarious and
panic
beautiful.
attack feels.
is
like-
that what?
A panic attack feels. It's like things are closing in, and you're laughing, but it's true.
And your mother pushes you down.
You're being pushed underwater. You can't breathe. It's like completely claustrophobic.
Yeah,
Ugh.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. It's heavy-handed, but also I really liked it. I really liked all
loved
the
it.
the shots of showing you how confined he was in that early part of the film. Really close in on him, and he's in like the phone booth at the hotel. He's really crowded in there.
Mhm.
And then even the scuba suit is kind of a callback to his fish tank, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Because when the keys to the car end up in there, I was looking down. I don't see. I think she threw them at him, right? And
She
missed
threw him
them?
back
Is that
at
true?
him, and then he failed
Yeah.
to catch them, and they
Yeah,
went into the. Fish
they
tank.
land on the little scuba guy in there. So it's like he is in the fish tank just for other
Oh.
people's enjoyment. It's kind of think you pick up
Searching
on
for a
if you've seen
giant pair
100
of
movies.
keys.
Well, and then
To
there's
his
the scene where
future.
he and Elaine finally go out, and we'll talk about how messed up that date was.
yeah.
But there's
Yeah,
a
that is
scene
messed up.
where they're in his, not Carmen Ghia, I don't know. I think I've just always wanted one, but instead an Alfa Romeo 1600 Duetto Spider, which is a
Wow.
very
Did
fancy
you just know
car.
that, or did you have to look that up?
Is that Wikipedia?
Oh, come on, friends. You know me. You know it's on Wikipedia.
I'm a big gearhead.
Okay.
I don't know.
I was like,
Sometimes
maybe
you
I
are a
don't.
weird gearhead compared to the rest of us. Let's
Well, in
not
the
forget
first
that
half,
the
you can give
reason
me
we even
credit.
started watching Fast and the Furious movies is because you insisted.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. That is absolutely fair. But anyway, they're sitting in his Alfa Romeo at a age appropriate. Is it one place that actually is kind of age appropriate? And they're surrounded by other cars, and next to them is a car with, I'm sure, a lot of your MVPs,
Oh yeah.
just
Yeah.
like folk singers, and there's music happening, and it's the most alive space. And his first instinct is to ask the car next door to turn down the music.
Mhm,
And when they don't, he closes them up in his little tiny car.
mhm.
And it was to me the moment where I was like, oh, I'd already given up on him, but that was just the icing on the cake. Like, can you
Yeah.
please participate in your own generation for 5 minutes?
Can't
I'm very
see that.
disappointed.
Yeah, I'm awfully disappointed.
He's very disappointing.
He is
And,
on many levels.
Yeah, he sucks. I hate him.
Oh,
But also I was thinking, like, I like this type of story a lot, of like people trying really hard and like not really succeeding, but succeeding a little bit, and like like everything is hard. We're gonna struggle, and it's gonna be a little better. But we're still messed up people, and everything is hard. I love that kind of story.
I do too.
And this is that a little bit, but I think he sucks too much for me.
Yeah, I think.
And I'm wondering if that's 1967. Like if this is right on the line, and it's 67, I would have been like, hell yeah. And now 40 whatever years later, 50. What year is it? I don't know. This movie's old. Now he sucks too much for me to like get on board with him.
Yeah, I think you kind of hit it on accident in the way you're describing it. Is like, I don't think he suffers enough for us to be like, okay, I get it. You know what I mean? Like,
but isn't
I agree.
The point not that I don't think the point is that he has to suffer to feel that way. I think the point is like you just feel that way. Like you don't know what you're supposed to be doing. You can work really hard. Like up to that point, he worked really hard in school and graduated from college. And then at the end of it, it's like, now what?
Mm-hmm.
I would never be Elaine and interested in him. But I also think that he's supposed to represent something and is not like necessarily, I think he's supposed to represent that feeling more than actually be like a person that you're like, yeah, you can do it.
Well, I think that, go ahead, Molly.
No, go ahead.
They're so mad at each other.
Seriously, I'm like so uncomfortable.
Yeah, you can feel the tension through the video conferencing software. I think I found watching this movie, like, I agree with Dan that I do really like those. Like, I can get into these kind of movies, but like, I think that's why I'm saying, like, I don't think he suffered enough for it to be like interesting. Cause like the whole time, just like, I was just so bored. Cause like, I feel like I've seen, and again, this is one of those things where like, maybe it is cause it was 1967 and now it's not 1967. I've seen so many of these movies now, you know what I mean? Of just like white 20-something guy whose life is basically fine, but he just isn't feeling it. But like, he doesn't actually really do anything to help himself. You know, he just sort of meanders through his privileged life. Yeah.
Oh yeah, a little bit.
Or Garden State is like this movie.
What?
Garden State is like this movie.
Yeah.
Well,
yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But the same thing. But yeah, I see what you're saying. I think I agree with what Beth was saying too, of like it doesn't matter.
No.
I mean, of course his level of privilege matters, but it doesn't I don't know, the wealthy could have a hard time too.
Yes.
Sounds terrible to be saying, but like I was like, I know where he's coming from too.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up pretty privileged, other than my parents were divorced, Molly.
Mm-hmm. And where did you grow up?
In Northern California.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to it. The movie takes place. But I also really definitely had that feeling of, yeah, now what? Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I did what I was supposed to do, and I have no idea what to do, and I'm totally unequipped to handle the adult world.
Yes.
But,
and I completely relate to that. And I think the problem is like, because it's not 1967 and because we've seen so many movies like this, watching it now, you're just kind of like, he's not even trying. Like, I think I just got mad at him because he wasn't even trying. You know what I mean? Like, he is so sheltered and so in his own little bubble that like his version of like, you know what I mean? Like, if you consider like the arc of this movie, like Molly actually pretty well described in 60 seconds, like his arc is that he, I don't know, just sort of like exerts his will on the world and just kind of causes a little bit of chaos, but doesn't actually grow or learn anything.
But he doesn't do anything for or by himself.
Yeah.
He, as at the beginning of the movie, he is so bland and rule following that, and we should talk about all the negs and toxicity and the seduction and almost all of the romantic scenes, sexual and romantic scenes, I should say. But he does not propel himself forward except in pursuit of Elaine.
Right.
And he clings onto Elaine, I swear to God, because she's the only person his age that he comes into contact with.
Yeah.
And
It is wild. He has no friends.
And when he goes to Berkeley, essentially to stalk her,
Yes.
In order to eventually try to persuade her to give him a second chance and to go out with him and eventually marry him.
I don't think he even go out with
while
him. I
he's
think they're just
stalking
jumping
her,
straight to
she
marriage.
looks so happy.
Yes.
She's a college student at Berkeley with a fantastic wardrobe, I should add. But
Agreed.
she looks relaxed and confident in her own skin, and she has friends her age and a whole lot going on. So the idea that she drops all of that first to marry this very bland medical student with shitty friends, and then later to escape on a bus with a guy who was so rotten to her and slept with her mom.
Mm-hmm.
And she thought that he raped her mom.
Yeah.
And she's still like, okay, but one other thing that I thought was very interesting was the parallels between the two of them, where how he was so sheepish and trying to maintain a sense of normalcy when he was being manipulated by Mrs. Robinson. And then when she's sitting on the bus next to an excellent character actor who had no lines but was fantastic.
Oh yeah,
So
amazing
good.
Russian spy energy.
The
she was
seatmate with the fur hat.
The seatmate,
Yeah.
yes. Oh, she was amazing. He comes in and sits behind her and physically and emotionally crowds her and cows her into being polite, even though there was no benefit to her. And in that way, I guess they were both similarly young, but she just had so much more option for herself, I guess. And you know what? I'm going to go back to, I still think Mrs. Robinson was the only complete character. Because if we're saying that this guy just represents a feeling or a sense of things or an empty vessel, that is not a complete human. That's what I think. You heard it?
I mean, I don't know. I think I feel strongly the other way because I think that I think he's depressed. I mean, clearly he's depressed.
He is.
And I think that's how people feel when they're depressed. They feel empty and like they have nothing. And there's no, your personality almost goes away. And I think that he was doing an excellent job of showing that. Mm-hmm. Like that to me, that is a full character, even if he's not his full self.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree. And just for the record, just so a whole listening public knows, I have gone through serious bouts of depression. So I'm not coming from a place of being like, oh, that seems like it might be really hard. But yeah, I think, Beth, I just misunderstood what you said earlier because I think you had mentioned you felt like he represented a feeling more than a person. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't phrase it the way that I meant it. I mean, like the feeling has taken over him.
They're
is
so
what I
mad
meant.
at each other right now.
I know, right?
It's so infuriating.
No, I agree.
Yeah. I don't know if it was just like if I'd watched this on another day, I'd feel differently. But like, I really just most of this movie, like once he kind of, I guess, went off on his own and was no longer under the yoke of Mrs. Robinson, I was just like, I do not give a shit about what this guy is doing with his life at all. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, obviously, like part of it is because it's 2020 and this dude is literally stalking a college student.
Oh yeah.
Because he's decided that he has nothing in his life, so he's just going to propose to this girl that he had a nice conversation with.
Yeah, I think he's also like he's so reactive to the world around him. I think because he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yes.
And I don't want to give him a pass because he's a creep. Right. But like,
yes, it is creepy to go stalk someone.
He also doesn't know what else to do. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like no one taught him, and he's too dumb to figure it out, I guess. And like the only, I think we can all agree he did not bang anyone before Mrs. Robinson, even though he said he did.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So his only relationship is he got manipulated into, and the person is just using him because she's bored. I think I don't fully know why she's doing it. Also, I don't fully know why she doesn't want him to ever date her daughter.
Because she doesn't want him to leave her.
Oh, you think so? Oh,
yes.
That's because he sucked.
I felt like it was weird. He couldn't understand why that would be hard.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you wouldn't want someone to date your sister, much less your daughter, right? Like, that doesn't seem like a big.
And she knows, like, it's gonna be a problem. Like, like we can't like show up to Christmas and be like everything's fine, you know. He's kind of, part of it is that he's rebelling against. He's being told what to do by everybody, and every time somebody says he can't do something, that's the thing that he does. Right. And so as soon as he's told that he can't have Elaine, then he's like, wait, why can't I have Elaine? Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't even think about it before, but why not? Why don't you want me to have her? Like, that kind of thing is... But then I think genuinely he does fall in love with her.
Yeah. I mean, he tries his best to have her go on a bad date.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, he does.
By wearing sunglasses all the time at night and
so cool.
Walking fast and taking her to his strip club.
It's truly awful. Like, I would also start crying in the middle of that strip club.
Oh, boy.
It's the worst.
Oh, yeah, the performer, Molly, spins her tassels onto Elaine's head.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah, it's really bad. But then then he's like, hey, it's all a joke, and they kiss and they have a good time.
Which is so like, God, the fact that their entire relationship was like triggered by him basically being like, it's just a joke, bro. Like, don't worry about it.
Yeah, that was the other thing that was like the timing, time it came out was too hard. Like, I think there's another version I really like where it's like he treats her like shit. It's a bad date, and then oh, I was bad, and he turns it around and they get along.
Right.
But like the space between I'm an asshole, I take you to a strip club, and now everything's fine was too short.
Now we kiss.
That road was much too short.
Yeah, I didn't get that. Part of it too is like I think that he falls in love with her partially because he doesn't like anybody, and then he finds somebody that he likes and can get along with. But then on the other side, I do not understand why she falls in love with him. I don't get it. I think the idea is that she just doesn't. I mean, at the end, she sees him when she's in her wedding dress and she looks up and he's yelling Elaine, and she sees him. She doesn't really react until she looks around and sees all the people who are like kind of telling her what to do and yelling, and that's when she says Ben. And so he's an escape for her, like to get away from people telling her what to do. But that's the only way I can see her being interested in him.
Yeah, I mean, they're both
they're
just both infatuated with the idea of this other person because they
understand
each other in the sense that they both were brought up in the same environment.
Yeah, they're living life on rails and don't know how to break off of it. But it's
But also,
he's not even good at living life on rails. No. Like, he does this intermediate thing, right? Like, literally, this dude could go out tomorrow and get a job in plastics, right? Like, one of his dad's friends would offer him some, executive track job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or he could go to graduate school. Right. Or he could continue running track, or just whatever his thing is, right? But he doesn't do any of that.
Wait, does he run track?
Yeah, the whole thing is he's a big track star, and he doesn't smoke and he doesn't drink.
It makes sense. Oh, that's right. Okay, things are adding up because he runs so much in this movie. He's like always
that's
running.
That's why he could make it to the church before the wedding was over.
Okay, like he chases down a bus.
Yeah, multiple buses.
He's fast.
Yeah, so he makes in that way it serves him well.
Yeah,
but he has options.
Yes.
And he has boring options. That's probably where he's going to end up.
Yeah.
But or even just to go back east where his friends are. Did he make no friends? Like,
I don't know. Great question.
How is he like the editor of the school paper and just knows no one? I don't, he doesn't know anyone from high school? Like,
maybe he does, but is just not like feeling it, He just can't get there. Oh, it's so hard. It really is hard.
So depressing.
Yeah, I think that's the point.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is the point.
Yeah, I just think like he has all this, he has all these opportunities, but he knows that none of them are good for him, but he doesn't know what is.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's a hard feeling to have.
Yes.
While also recognizing the incredible place of privilege it comes from.
Yes.
To be like, here's all these things laid out before me, but like, this isn't for me, but I never had to make an important decision for myself before. And now I
Yeah.
finally can see the ones that are wrong. And now I'm lost.
Yeah.
That's definitely what the character in this movie felt, and no one else.
Yeah, I mean the privilege of having too many options is kind of frustrating to watch.
Well, and it's just like, I
But,
mean, I
yeah.
really do. I don't know. Like watching this movie this time. I mean, obviously I've seen it before, but like Molly.
Shots fired.
Wow.
But like, yeah.
If you would have watched the AFI's 100 films, you would have seen it.
Well, honestly, though, like now that I'm starting to do that, like I am just like, I literally watched a movie a couple days ago that was like the same fucking story, except I don't know. I mean, it wasn't like upper class white dude, but it was still like, oh, the plight of the white man, right? And like that's
What movie was
Is that the
whole
Last Picture
story.
Show?
Yeah, that's the whole story, and it's just like I can appreciate that like even watching this movie now, like I appreciated the film as a film, but the story was so boring to me because I have seen so fucking many of these movies from every decade. Because who are the people that make movies? Fucking Benjamin Braxton or whatever his name is. Those are the guys that end up getting into filmmaking most of the time. There are a couple of outliers, and there's more now than there used to be, but not that many.
Yeah. I feel the same way about that. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something about this movie that I feel like I can connect with his character in a lot of ways.
I can relate to him completely because I'm a middle-class white dude who had no direction after college. But I'm just so tired of watching these dudes' stories over and over again. Like I think it is the fact that it's like 45 years later where I'm just like, yeah, I get it. You know what I mean? Like when this movie came out, I think that's what it is. Like when it came out and when the novel came out, I'm sure it was sort of like, oh yeah, this is something that people who have the ability to even go consume this media can absolutely relate to. But now in 2020, it's just like, oh, we get it. Like life still sucks even when you're a well-off white dude.
He's kind of a prototype for Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, Cameron actually was like a good person, right?
Yeah. I think it just sort of explains him jumping to the bottom of the pool, though, and just hanging out, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of a reference.
Probably is.
I mean, that's what makes the movie like not a complete garbage fire, because it's like, especially those first, I mean, the beginning of the movie, like absolutely just demonstrates that like he is a product of his environment, right? Like you're not supposed to, it's not just like the movie like starts with him banging Mrs. Robinson and getting a job at a plastics factory or whatever, and then having this ennui. Like you understand where he's coming from, and I get that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Basically my thesis here is like, I think it's an interesting story. It's very much relatable. I just found it very boring on this day in 2020 that we happened to watch the movie.
Yeah,
That's
for
fair.
me, the movie went off the rails or the rails of my interest pretty much as soon as Mrs. Robinson dropped out.
Agreed.
Like,
She was
and
the
not
best
that
part.
I'm this huge fan, but it just sort of.
I mean, she's a terrible person too.
Yeah, they're all sort of terrible in their own ways, which is fair, aren't we all?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just had a lot of trouble focusing because I had trouble rooting for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in the first half, it was easier to root for him because Mrs. Robinson was so relentless. And it's so, like, to call it seduction is very generous. If she were a man doing this to a woman,
Oh, yeah.
you would, it's like,
Oh yeah,
very, very bad. It's like
Yeah.
Harvey Weinstein
that
bad.
whole first scene, like that whole first sequence where she has him drive him home. Like that's all I could. I wrote it down. I was just like, just imagine watching this entire sequence with the genders reversed.
No, they do such a good job of playing out the abuse that's happening there, of like her trying to play off. It's like repeatedly how it's not a big deal. Just do this one more thing.
Right.
oh, what's just bring the purse up. Just, oh, I just left it there. Okay, fine. And like, he says anything, and then she's got one response to it that means innocuous, but everybody knows where it's going. She's great at manipulating him. Yeah,
and she manipulates him fully in like really classic ways, right? By telling him, "Oh, it's okay if you're inadequate." And just kind of and it's not even hard for her.
No,
like it's not. Like I know we're saying she's doing this out of boredom, but this is not even a challenge. And I think that's where I sort of get the feeling of like, I think part of her feels like she's doing him a kindness to wake him up in some area of his life. Because, oh my Lord, his moves were hard to watch.
That first kiss is so bad.
Yeah,
and then there's a moment.
And then,
oh my
doesn't
God!
even grab. I think grab is
stop
generous.
laughing at that. I was like, what is he doing?
Just kind of places his hand on her breast.
It looks like a mistake.
Like it not.
Like he was trying to put his hand on her shoulder and just like
she's like trying to do something else. It's so weird.
Oh, I'm here now.
He was like, do you think he's been begged?
Oh,
whoa. Okay, that actually changes this entire movie for me then. If he is actually... You're blowing my mind right now, Beth. Okay, yeah, if he is a bigged, like 10 or 11-year-old, or however old he was supposed to be in big, that gives this movie a whole new layer, and I love it.
I mean,
we've been
he is essentially, right? 21-year-olds are like little kids still. They don't know what they're doing.
I mean, 20 most-year-olds are still just big old dum-dums.
Hey, cool it, 20-year-olds.
Yeah, hey.
20-year-olds.
We're expanding our enterprise for, I think this is only like $10,000 a month to start our Cool It Teens.
Oh, the
LLC.
tour group?
Only.
The touring thing? Yeah, we can go to colleges too. Why not?
Yeah, for
honestly, we should go to colleges.
We can especially do it now.
Those teens are college kids now.
Right? Like, we should definitely go to campuses and be like, hey, it's me. I'm wearing a bright vest, and I'm here to tell you, don't stalk people.
Yeah. Listen to this synth keyboard.
College teens do not have, like, assemblies,
not
right?
Yet.
Orientation.
I absolutely
orientation.
Oh, yeah. Orientation.
Orientation assemblies.
Don't drink all the time because you'll die.
Yeah. No, we could do orientation ceremony or orientation stuff. Yeah.
Ceremonies.
Whatever.
You do have to sit through it.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we'll give commencement speeches and
why not?
Graduation.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll do it all.
I would love.
We'll play the Jurassic Park theme, the traditional Jurassic Park theme at the ceremony.
They would hire.
Sorry, Beth. What?
I would love if they would hire Totes Recall to do commencement speeches.
Absolutely.
But we wouldn't write anything down. It'd just be us like giving advice.
Just riffing.
It would just be, don't be a creep.
I mean,
listen,
whatever you do.
Hey, listen, graduating class of 2020.
Yeah.
Don't be a creep.
Yeah.
If you're a creep, why don't you just take that diploma and put it in the garbage and follow it with yourself in the garbage?
Put yourself in the garbage.
Go straight to jail.
With the garbage.
Your mortarboard, slap your face, say, I won't be a creep anymore.
Yeah. No creeping.
No creep.
No creeping for me.
No creeping 2020.
And then go back, start college again, because you got stuff to learn.
Yeah, clearly. Or
you should take a class about not creeping.
Oh, can we talk about those frat guys, though?
Yeah.
The frat house.
Oh, boy.
What did they call
Carl,
him?
the
Makeout king?
student?
Carter?
What?
Oh, was his name Carter?
I think Carter was the shower guy.
Carl was the shower guy. Carl was the fiance.
Carl Smith was the fiance. Medical
and they kept
student.
calling Carl the Makeout king.
Oh, yeah. Hey, where's the Makeout king getting married?
They were the most...
They did the best job of letting us know what a dud Carl was, right? Because otherwise you think,
just by
he seems all right to me.
To me, Carl is somehow worse than Ben. Like, he's just,
I mean,
even though he's like...
pipe, Beth.
Ugh. Yeah. Remember he showed up at the zoo with a pipe?
Yeah. To say in your marriage proposal, we'd make a good team.
Yeah.
Carl.
No.
Does he say that?
Yeah, that's what Elaine
says. He says, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ew.
And then, that's a good line, actually.
Yeah.
That's a good line. I was
That's
probably
what he
really
said.
illustrative.
looking something up. I do want to mention, though, that basically Elaine gets stalked all the way to the zoo where she's
my-
meeting up with Carl for the first time. And Ben just follows her and is relentless, even though she clearly does not want him around. And the only thing that saves her from Ben is that Carl very smoothly and quickly says, "Nice to meet you, Ben," puts his arm around her and whisks her away.
Oh yeah, he
Mhm.
boxes Ben out. Good.
Yeah, but like it makes it clear like her only options are people who box out other people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think if we did The Graduate 2, she would return to Berkeley for graduate school? And
She'd be the graduate of grad school?
No, she's the
She'd be
graduate.
the grad school, but like she would graduate with a degree in feminist studies
Hmm.
and move to San Francisco. I guess Berkeley's kind of right there anyway. But anyway,
It's pretty close.
go like do the Summer of Love
Yeah.
in 69
Great. I
and
love it.
like experience the world. That would be great. I want to watch that movie.
I mean,
Yeah.
Elaine is definitely the most innocent of the main characters. And she's also incredibly confusing, though, because
She
it sort
is.
of feels like she's kind of a plot contrivance for most of the movie. Molly, you've talked about this
Yeah.
before, where like the main woman is sort of just there to allow for certain situations to develop the main dude's story.
And she,
That is
yeah,
definitely
she's, like,
Elaine.
giving nothing. I
Mhm.
don't know. I was also like, I found her very compelling to watch, but also like the character was doing like blew my mind. I do before we move past it too fast. I screamed, "That's my zoo!" when they cut to the spider monkeys, because that was the zoo of my youth. That's the San
Mhm.
Francisco Zoo, and that spider monkey island,
Yeah.
was the same in '67 as it was at least through the '80s when I was going as a tiny youth.
Wow.
And that's like kind of in the center of the zoo, this big rock structure that the spider monkeys put on. It was
Oh,
it really took me down a path.
Did they still have the signs on the cage that just said "Do not tease"?
Do not
Probably.
I really
tease.
enjoyed that.
Yeah. And then we
I
see
bet they
just
put
two
that sign up-
chimpanzees like slowly rocking each other.
Yep.
In case we
That
don't
was-
get that everybody's having a hard time.
Yep. And then cut into a very thoughtful, a pensive, lonely gorilla.
Yeah, I love that gorilla.
Mhm,
Yeah.
Me too.
I was just thinking about Elaine at the end of the movie, and I like that is what I get from the end of the movie is that she just wants to get out of the control of everybody else.
Mhm.
And so she gets on the bus and she's out of the control, and she realizes she looks over at him and he doesn't look back at her, and you can tell her that she's like, But I think that that is a great moment, even if she did something, even if that was crazy, like that is a great moment for her because she finally broke away from everybody telling her what to do, and now she does have the opportunity to go do what she wants to do and do the Summer of Love and Berkeley grad school, all that
As
kind of
long
stuff.
as-
Like
as long as
she is like
Benjamin
taking a
Bland
stand for
doesn't
herself.
follow her around.
Yeah. Yep.
God, just sticks on her like I don't know. Yeah, I think it's true, and I think it's true as her as a plot contrivance because without her in the movie, what does this guy do but hang out by the pool and drink beer?
Right.
P.S. The beer cans were crazy. Did you notice they were like there was no like pull tab?
The ones you just like use a can opener on, the one of those
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
triangle ones that you just go.
Yeah. Yep.
1967
You
or
did.
whatever.
Yep. Anyway,
Hands.
so he would just be hanging out. I guess that would be the rest of the movie. They just
Yeah.
fill the last 46 minutes of him just drinking.
Yeah,
And
I
then-
Well, I guess without Elaine, he'd just still be banging Mrs. Robinson in the hotel. room.
probably. So
That was
yeah.
coming to an end. Oh, can we talk about her art career?
Who?
Yes.
There's this
Heartbreaking.
Oh,
Yeah.
this.
Oh, Mrs.
So-
Robinson. Yes.
So
God bless you.
he's basically been going out every night, meeting Mrs. Robinson at this hotel. Like it sounds like every night, based on some of the other pieces of information we're given.
Mhm.
And he's like, "Hey, let's have a conversation." She doesn't want to have a conversation. And it turns out she's very smart to not want to have a conversation.
Mhm.
But he asks for a topic and she says art. And he tries to talk to her about art. And she's like, I'm not interested. But somehow he delves down into what was your major in college. And she says art. And then you remember that in her home, you only see two pieces of art. One is a black and white scary clown.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah, it
other
is.
is a different black and white scary, like
I thought the
I
clown
don't
was
remember.
in.
Anna.
There's also
Benjamin's
a portrait
house.
of her daughter in
Yeah.
her daughter's room.
Clowns in Benjamin's house, yeah.
But the portrait
Oh.
of Elaine is in.
But she didn't do that.
Do
Somebody
you
else
think
did.
she
They
painted
commissioned
it?
I doubt it.
Are you sure?
No.
Maybe she painted it.
Did you say we just had it made? I mean, she
What if
could
she's so talented and she's like being stifled in this house? And all she can do
the
is
clown was in Benjamin's house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, never
Does this
mind.
ruin your thesis?
It ruins my thesis.
I do
Oh,
okay,
sorry.
I do wonder sometimes when like they know what is in the house when they shoot movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like they know what's on the wall. Like so that to me that had to be a choice to have that piece of art
Absolutely.
on the wall,
Absolutely.
right?
Yep.
So what is that supposed to say to
It's
us?
like, this
Other
is a
than look at that giant clown
comedy.
painting. I
Well,
guess so.
I guess it also is mimicked. Like you have a couple of scenes where you have a character on a wall, like back up to their wall, like that. You have Mrs. Robinson in one of them, and you have Ben in one when he's in the scuba suit.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, sort of the objectification and isolation.
Mhm. Or Mike
And
Nichols.
also, I
just-
guess it's funny.
Yeah, or Mike Nichols just saw that painting in the house that they would did the scout location. We're just like, we're keeping that fucking painting on the wall.
Hell yeah.
I think we must have been into this movie because we don't usually get into like what was on the walls.
Yeah.
Well, that was.
Well, when there's a clown on the wall, we know about it.
well, the movie.
Was this his dad?
Oh my gosh, it's a painting of his dad.
Trapped in the painting.
Then who
And
was
that's why he's banging someone who kind of looks like his mom.
Oh, so much like
Okay.
his mom.
His mom
Right?
is real sexy at one point.
What are we talking
like
about?
when she comes to the bathroom door? I thought that was Mrs. Robinson.
Oh, when he's like brushing his teeth or whatever, or shaving.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because she's wearing
Yeah.
yeah.
That sequence is so good from a filmmaking perspective. Just like when it's like cutting between him like being depressed at the pool and then banging at the hotel, just like seamlessly back and forth. And
Yeah.
all that Simon and Garfunkel's funking around.
Mm-hmm.
Forget about it, filmmaking.
Simon and
pretty
Funkin,
good.
just every which way.
But yeah, I did feel like his mom and Mrs. Robinson have the same hair. Like they have that like dark hair with the blonde streak and then it kind of flips out.
Yeah, and
was
they're
like-
indistinguishable when the sun is behind them when they're talking on the side of the pool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both, as callous as it sounds, they're both sort of like the trophies of men of that station, right? Like their husbands are partners in a firm together. So like they are
Yeah.
all sort of being groomed to present in a certain way, just as a culture.
I had a lot of MVPs,
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's
as I
go for
alluded
it.
to.
Hit them.
The party in the hotel. It's like an old people wedding, maybe. I don't know.
It's like
There's
an
just,
old people wedding and then a young person wedding comes in.
Yeah, more
Right.
symbology. He's trapped between generations.
Oh.
He can't get
Yeah.
in the door. The old people coming out, the
Yeah.
young people go in. He can't get in there.
I saw that.
But yeah, there's like 40
When he,
great older
Yeah.
people coming out, all in
Yeah.
white.
Yeah, when he first opens the door to the hotel, there's just this like parade of charming elderly couples in their Sunday best, and he just sort of awkwardly holds the door open for all of them, and is delightful.
I loved them. I love the good boys at the boarding house where he gets a room, who all stack up when Elaine screams to
Yeah.
see if they should call the cops. And Richard
Yeah,
Dreyfuss is the
Richard
head
Dreyfuss,
good
the one
boy.
who's going to
Head
call the
good boy.
cops for him.
Yeah,
He is the head
but they're
good
all
boy.
like they got distinct looks, and they're all good boys, and I
Yep.
know they are.
Well, and they show some character. Like, honestly, if you hear a woman screaming in the room.
Right,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, go
I
on.
said they're good boys.
MVPs. They're very good boys.
good boys.
Yeah, then the car people we already talked about
Which car people?
at the
Oh,
burger.
yeah, but I mean,
the
did we
drive-in
I mean,
restaurant?
I feel like we should talk about them a little more. Like, there was a guy who just had like a horizontal striped shirt, like he was cosplaying as Smee from Peter Pan. There was another guy in like just like a weird, I don't know. He was just like, he looked like he was like, he had deliberately woken up today and just like, I'm going to be the guy that goes to parties and annoys other people by playing my acoustic guitar in the living room. And he had an acoustic guitar with him. Like he was just embodying that person.
Was that the same guy with tiny sunglasses?
Ooh,
There was
great
one guy
question.
that had like sunglasses where the lenses
Yep.
were like the size
Yep.
of a quarter or
Yep.
something.
I think it was the
What are
same
we
guy.
gonna do?
I think that was the same guy.
Yeah, I mean, it was night, so I guess you don't need that much coverage.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then when Ben JK's Elaine and then they kiss after the strip club, they're having that big argument. There's a guy just like fully staring at them and smoking. I don't know if this is like an extra doing a bad job or a great job.
Right.
It's like you're
Amazing.
standing around and people are having a fight on the street. That's something to watch.
Absolutely. But still, you still got to smoke that cigarette, though.
Yeah.
Got to get your fix.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of smoking in this movie.
So cool.
Teens.
Oh, right.
It's not cool.
Sorry. Teens.
Oh,
Not cool,
teens.
Take your headphones off for a second.
Yeah.
So cool.
It looks so cool.
I had 2 MVPs.
Please.
When they were at the zoo and Carl is like, hey, I'm over here, or whatever. Behind him are 2 men dressed as sailors.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I really enjoyed them.
Yep.
They might be sailors, right?
Well, why? Yeah, but why are they in uniform at the zoo?
Because they're on shore leave,
On
man.
leave.
They're on shore leave.
While the rest of
Maybe they
the
have
rest of the crew is going to the flop house, they're like, ugh, let's just go to the zoo.
We got to go tease some monkeys.
Exactly. Hey, you guys want to go to the zoo and tease the spider monkey?
Oh, I did.
Oh, man, there's a sign that says, do not tease.
Oh.
Guess we got to go back to the ship.
I did tease an orangutan at the San Francisco Zoo once as a youth.
Daniel.
Is that sign there because of you?
Members of the zoo, no big
Wow.
deal. And one of our perks was we got to go on an early morning bike ride
You
through the
got
zoo.
to make fun
before
of
it
an
opened.
orangutan.
Yeah, you got to get in there and really talk shit. No, but like we stopped outside the orangutan pits and I just started like dancing.
Uh-huh.
Oh, damn.
And then the orangutan started dancing too, I thought. But I guess we were doing fight dances because then it just like
Oh,
picked up
no.
big orange and just winged it at me super hard.
Did you get hit?
I did not. I was pretty far away, but it was
okay.
like it got some speed on it.
Yeah,
Because
they've
they're
got
not like
massive
in
arms.
they're not like in, there's no like walls, right? For an orangutan. At least at like
No.
the Como Zoo, which is in
It's
Minneapolis.
similar
No,
at
St.
San
Paul.
Francisco. Yeah, there's like, a moat
Sure.
Yeah, a moat.
kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah, they got full sight lines.
Wow.
For whipping oranges at kids.
Yeah. I did get attacked by a goose at a zoo in Hawaii.
We've
as
all
a
been
very
attacked
small
by geese. Whatever.
child. Well, it was a nene.
I'm sorry?
A nene. It's a Hawaiian goose.
Oh,
Okay.
Braggy.
terrible. The only thing more annoying than your Northern California stories are your Hawaii stories.
I agree. I am in complete agreement.
Also been to Japan, no big deal.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
sure.
Those are somewhere in there.
I don't think. I don't have any good
Animal interactions.
animal stories
in Japan.
I did while I was living in Japan. I took a trip to Thailand. One of my
No big
breaks.
deal.
And while I was swimming in the oceans there, some monkeys did come out of the forest and steal my lunch.
Oh, that's
Well,
fun.
I'm sure you deserved it.
How dare you?
I agree. You were in their habitat. Late game MVP was the nearsighted organ player at the wedding. Like she was just like squinting and hunched over the organ, but just giving it her all.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
loved her. Also, the 2 dogs
She
at the
crushed
frat
it.
house were my MVPs for sure.
Oh yeah, the one dog who jumps out of the way. Great.
Yep. And then the other dog that's like eating cereal at the table.
Yeah, those are really good dogs. Those are really good dogs.
Yep.
We forgot the Bechtel Wallace.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And it does pass at the
Yes.
very end with the very critical and famous lines where Anne Bancroft as Mrs. Robinson.
Well, like Bancroft, am I right?
You are right.
Oh boy.
Oh, boy.
Great. Second time I made that joke. The first one got covered up, so I'm glad I slipped it back in.
Anyway, just as Elaine is about to make her escape from the church, she's grabbed by the arm by her mom, who says it's too late. And Elaine says, not for me.
Yeah.
Oof.
It was a great, great exchange. Tells you everything you need to know about Elaine's state of mind and her relationship with her mother, and is the part that passes the Bechdel Wallace.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the version of this movie that's the mother-daughter is probably way better.
More interesting for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it is a cross that he uses to bar the door.
Yes.
Yes.
Correct. Very good.
Molly's vet.
It's pretty great. Like he picks it up. Like and brandishes it around. It's very funny.
Kill everybody there with that cross.
Oh yeah, he really whips that thing around.
Can I just make a quick correction from the first half?
Sure.
I made reference to my time in Athens, Georgia, post-college for 6 months, where by day I was running a very small web company, and by night I was waiting tables.
Batman? Oh.
Yeah. And I sort of referred to myself as a townie, but that's not really accurate. It was sort of a wannabe townie situation. So if there's anyone listening who's like, wait a minute, what is she talking about? I just wanted to make that. I said that regret immediately. Usually it takes me a day. So I'm going to mention it now.
If there's any true townies listening, tweet at us, hashtag Molly, how dare you?
Yeah.
Or hashtag Molly, it's fine.
Yeah. Hashtag Townie Pride. And then also like
Tell me what a
hashtag-
townie is.
Yeah, if you want to let us know what a
derogatory
townie is,
you
that would be
don't know the
helpful.
term townie? Was that not? Oh, you went to school in big city.
Me?
A townie's someone who
Yeah, what's
lives-
a townie?
it lives in the town where you go to school.
It lives in the town?
Someone who,
A person.
So, like,
like a
okay, so
local,
in like a college town, you're saying.
Yes,
Like, it's
yes.
mostly college students, but like the other people who live there are townies.
But it
Yeah,
doesn't
and it's
count if you're in a larger city.
Yeah, like, so am I a townie right now? There's a college in here, in the city?
No, it's really
We're
just
not in
for
a town, we're in a
towns
city.
that like for example, when students were in session in Athens, there were like 35,000 students or something at the time, but the town itself was maybe like 15,000 people. So it would roughly quadruple or whatever when the students were
Oh,
around.
that'd be so
It's
weird.
kind of a derogatory term.
So you're a townie if you're
Oh, is it? We always
Oh,
thought it was
that's
like a
how I always
point of
thought.
pride. Like
Townie
townies
is
were
like
the
you're
real
part of
deal,
the
and students were the
15K, right? That's what you're
Yes.
saying?
yeah.
You live.
So
in
why
the
does
town, but are
Dan
not
think
the-
that's a derogatory term to say you live somewhere? Is it because
Oh, 'cause
you
it's-
look down on the townies in your college experience?
I
Oh
mean,
my
I didn't look down, but
gosh.
that seemed to be the vibe of which it was used. Like
Oh,
here we are, the college people. We're so great, yeah, college, and these are
Yeah.
just the people that live here and like
Yeah, college
work at the
kids.
These are
cafe.
just the
That-
people that live here.
that is
Hey,
true. College kids
college-
do suck.
Yeah, cool it, college
Oh.
kids.
and
my
for
God,
$15,000 a month, we will come to your college.
Yeah, so we will tell you
So
suck to
you
your
know
face.
how much.
But no, it was not used as a derogatory term where I was. It was more reverence. But
Oh, okay. Well, tweet at us, townie cool, townie not cool.
Yep.
And then geolocate that tweet,
Yep.
and we'll data visualize it.
Yeah, we'll do a really good data visualization
Yeah,
of
all.
Yeah.
who hates
I had a-
townies
I had a
and who
trial
doesn't.
membership of
hate
ArcGIS,
townies.
so
I don't even know what that is, but
it's a mapping program.
okay.
No big deal. I got a free trial.
well, before we
That's right. Before we get to our final reviews of this movie, we'd like to read a review of our podcast, totesrecall.com, in the impression of a character from this movie, a maximum rating review. And we have one of those as well. I'm trying to think of impressions from this movie.
Wasn't the review supposed to be in a certain someone's voice?
Oh, yes. This was great. This was requested as Katie Hips.
Wow. Good producing,
big
Beth.
fun,
Yeah, fun.
like fun,
Beth, I feel like you're our primo Katie Hips
Yeah.
I agree.
impressionist.
like fun.
Okay. Like fun.
Yes.
Mr. Arnott.
Mr. Allnut. Excellent fun and nostalgia. I started listening to this podcast when, and who was it from?
Darlene Valeda
Yay.
from Canada.
Ooh.
Oh,
Nice.
thanks, Darlene. I
Dot
started
.ca.
listening to this podcast when I was alone overseas and was really missing hanging out with my friends. I'll admit I talked back to my computer a lot, as it's amazing what they forget about the movies they sit down to watch. Mr. Allnut. So it was comforting. And now that I'm evacuated back home March 2020 and we are all isolated, I think many will find it comforting as well. I recommended listening to beginning. I can't read. I recommended listening from the beginning to catch some of the running gags, so you understand why it's okay that Molly falls over laughing every time Dan mentions his parents' divorce. But I didn't catch all the jokes because they mentioned Channing Tatum a lot and are still tweeting his name years later, and I have no idea why. Like fun.
What?
Do we know why? First of all,
No.
Beth, excellent impression.
Very.
Second
Excellent
of all,
impression.
Is it because we figured Channing Tatum just knows everyone, and is just a nice guy?
Okay, here's what I remember. I'm gonna totes recall, and I might be wrong. And if you know the origins of this,
Ooh, yeah.
please let us
Please.
know.
We need a archivist.
But we watched we watched Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, and I think during that episode we talked about the Step Up movies, which is another series of movies that are wackadoo. And Molly and I and a couple other friends went through all those movies. So I think we were talking about Channing Tatum because of that, because he's in Step Up, the first one. That's what I remember about that. I don't know why we asked him to tweet at us in the first place, but then it became a running bit that we asked Channing Tatum to tweet at us throughout the podcast.
Yep.
Then in a bonus content, we asked...
patreon.com/totesrecall.
Yes, and if you want to hear more of where our bits come from, be sure to sign up for patreon.com/totesrecall.com.
Yes, and you can always tweet at us with the emojis salad hole
Yes.
for an explanation of bits if we can remember.
Yes. I believe I don't remember why it came up, but we made a joke about tweeting a dog picture to Channing Tatum every day in one of the bonus content episodes, and now we have followed through for half of a year.
Yeah,
Everyday
it was
check.
our January 1 bonus content about our goals and dreams for the year.
Yes.
And one of our
New Year's resolution.
one of our New Year's resolutions is to get a retweet from Channing Tatum.
There it is. Okay.
And I believe we, and by we I mean Beth, thought the best way to do that was to tweet a dog picture at him every day.
That's a solid
I feel like-
plan of attack.
So that's why.
I thought I said something offhand about dogs and Channing Tatum, and then it went from there. I think then Beth crystallized us into action plan.
Okay. Well,
That's
either
okay.
way,
We'll have to
it
listen back
wasn't
to
my
the tape.
idea, but I'm doing this.
Yes.
That's true. Either way, I haven't done anything for it.
Our rating scale for this movie, The Graduate, was $300,000 ennui cars,
Yep.
which are cars that run on ennui and feel ennui, but they are explicitly not cannibals.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Dan, you gave it a 3 because you were doubtful about how much you would enjoy it, because who cares?
Yeah. I mean, I think most of the things I said on this show enforced that attitude. Like, that was sort of my position watching most of the movie, was who cares? Like, I don't dispute that it's a well-made movie. I wouldn't say I disliked it, but I also really could not give a shit about the protagonist of this film for the majority of its runtime. So I'm going to stick with 3.
Yep. Hey, checks out. Beth, 5 cars. You're going to believe your Facebook self.
I forgot about that.
You know what? I do actually believe my Facebook self. I really, really like this movie.
Good job.
I think it's
Past
excellent.
Beth.
So I was right. I wasn't trying to be cool. I was feeling my own feelings. And I
Yeah.
was pursuing my own passions. Turns out.
Yeah, it's almost like past Facebook Beth was knocking on the plexiglass of a church at your wedding to your doubts about whether you were trying to be cool or not.
Yeah.
And then you ran out of that church because it wasn't too late for you to doubt yourself
Yep.
or not doubt yourself.
But first,
Yeah.
I picked up a cross and hit everybody with it.
Yeah. But I guess in this case, it'd just be like that stylized F of the Facebook logo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mother of your doubts,
Oh.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yes.
FOMO.
Oh, he is the mother of my doubts.
Whoa.
Tried to
Deep.
stop you, but
Yep.
you ran out.
Yep. So 5
Brilliant.
ennui cars.
Cars. I gave it 4 ennui cars because as a cinephile, I knew it was going to be a great movie. That's right. Four is the right answer for me. I liked it a lot. I do think it's a really good movie. Oh, I think I said it would be good, but also maybe bad.
Yeah.
Which is also a
cinematography.
good bet.
And that's exactly right. I liked it a lot. I needed him to suck a little less to really enjoy it. I like that the story is in 2020. I needed to be told a little bit different to give it 5. But I thought it was great. Molly, 4. Classics are a classic for a reason.
Well,
And that reason is
that logic is rock solid, so I stand by that part.
Mm-hmm.
I am still torn. I think I'm going to be thinking about this movie for a while.
good art makes you think.
I guess
Like a
so.
black and white
I don't know. I
clown.
think what strikes me about it is it's written like a play and it's sometimes acted like a play, but it is shot very aggressively like a movie. This is a movie. Check out the cinematography. It's a movie. And I just hated too many of the characters too much of the time, even though I know that's 2020 eyes, unfair eyes. 3.5.
Great.
Great.
Yeah, I was in suspense myself, but I think that's correct. 3.5.
Is it like a motorcycle? Ennui motorcycle?
Great question. Yeah.
Or
It's
like
a
Mini Cooper?
moped or a mope ed.
Oh, I get it.
Mope.
Because ennui.
Yep.
Moped.
Got I love it.
Get
I
it?
get it.
Yes,
Mhm.
I
get
do
it.
get it.
I
And
get
I
it.
love it. It's probably the best thing that we've come up with this whole episode.
That's a t-shirt.
That is a t-shirt.
As we go on, we remember.
Is that a Simon and Garfunkel song?
we-
Totes Recall is hosted by Molly Chase, Beth Gibbs, Dan Jaquette, and Dan Linden. Produced by Beth Gibbs. New episodes of Totes Recall drop on the 15th of every month. For more information and bonus content, visit us at totesrecall.com. Thank you so much for listening.